First success then for India. Vinny Tamarind on to 32.
Vinny captured 3 wickets, and left-arm spinner Ravi Shastri mopped up the tail as the West Indies crumbled to 228. It was a major upset, the repercussions of which would be felt all the way to the final.
Losing that very first game,
he's bowled him all over the place, and it takes another wicket.
Because he needed to come out.
Well, a clean bowl for 33, leaving England now 84 for 2 in the 21st over.
If you're a batsman, international batsman against a medium-pace bowler,
whether you're the best team in the world or not,
you should be the dominant power.
And that sort of woke us up.
And yet what happened was those bowlers, those same bowlers,
really,
all put it just on the right sort of length, just that sort of little nagging length. No pace coming onto the
world
bat.
champions.
And in essence what happened was that every time we tried to force the pace, and this is what happened to me personally, every time
a win against Zimbabwe in their second game
just a little bit of
kept
something
that possibility alive.
Didn't come onto the bat. A little nick in my pace off
in the next match by Australia.
Catch, and off I trudged. And that
it was a reality check for India as Trevor Chappell's century helped the Australians home slowly by 160. The match was starting to turn India's way. The Oval was the scene of India's next fixture. This time, a resurgent West Indies avenged their opening day defeat. With 4 matches gone, India sat 3rd in the table, and soon, knowing Mike Gatting would follow Alan Lamb to the pavilion.
In the earlier games, I was bowling more of an outswinger, but I changed my style here. I thought instead of bowling outswinger, I was not very successful in the earlier games. So I thought you let me just bowl in-swingers.
Tunbridge Wells is an unlikely setting for a slice of cricketing history. But in 1983, this sleepy ground in the south of England played host to one of the most memorable matches in one-day cricket. It was a match that would bear witness to a remarkable individual performance and signal a change in India's fortunes. But England needed to force the pace. With just 160 runs on the board, all hopes were once more pinned to Ian Botham. So often, England saved.
The way he batted, the way he handled that pressure in that
That's gone.
On a moist pitch, the ball swung and seemed appreciated. And India couldn't cope.
Of England in real trouble here.
Shrikant, and he puts it up in the air, and with Butchart underneath, and he takes a
It was left to England's tail to build a total.
Ball. And is he caught? He is. He's out.
And that's 4 runs. Off the gauge this time.
After 13 overs, India was 7. Graham Dilley's useful 20 was only postponing
all
the
very
inevitable.
disappointed, and so we just stayed back.
Perfectly timed. The last ball of the day. Bob Willis's leg stump goes over. He's out for North, and England are dismissed at the end of 60 overs for a score of 213.
I think
then
they
when
knew,
we got the
and I think we
news
knew
sitting down in the dressing room,
213 batsmen first
the
on
runs
that
are
pitch.
coming, Kapil is batting.
Still wasn't enough, wasn't nearly enough.
We were
confident, yeah, because
and
at
so
the
we
same time,
started,
we always
have
have something behind your mind. You think that,
What they would witness was one of the greatest innings in World Cup history.
Capel had come in, I think, at number 7,
Gavaskar and
and
Krishna
he hadn't
Machari
played a
Shrikant
shot.
started
He just
in the
looked
right
like he was
spirit.
determined to try and bat and get a score for India.
Looks all
He
right.
was just absolutely amazing. He never mishit the ball. He never dropped him. Whenever he was a chance. Anything that went in the air, generally went out the game.
As Rawson comes in, the Kapildev, who has 99. This one nudged out the offside to go through for the second. Oh my word, he sent that right over the top of Willis and made off 4 handsome runs. Zimbabwe players. In comes Fletcher, loping in from the far end of Older Kapildev. He gets a full cross. Points it we've seen on this slapping spot 172. And it
But
is
neither was to last as long as they'd like. Capel reached 175 not out. It took the team to an unthinkable 266. It was an inspiring innings that clinched the match by 31 runs.
That's gone high. Willis is underneath it. He doesn't drop
in
much.
every
Oh,
cricket
beautifully judged.
15-20 years, some of the days come
When
out, it's
Shrikant
your
fell in the
days.
14th over,
Manufactured by
it left India on
God
50 for
given
2
to you,
and
this is
trailing
whatever
England's
you
run
do,
rate.
nothing can go
India
wrong.
needed to pick
Perhaps
up the
that
pace.
inning was like that.
I think Bendel was stopping after that. Even we played really slow, probably all charged up, because in the dressing room we could beat any side.
They now went into their final match against Australia, knowing that whoever was victorious would make it to the semi-final.
and I would go for the bowling. So straight away I just started coming down the wicket, hitting the bowls over the top, and what I see the next over, Yashpal would do the same thing, because he didn't want to stay behind and
Fired up,
moment.
Binny starred with 4 wickets as India brushed aside Australia by 118 runs to storm into the last
He's
4.
going for a big one, and he's
Their
fairly
opponents
middle there.
would be a team India
word,
had
he's
never
got
beaten in a
everything
one-day
he knew.
match
It's
on
6.
English soil.
By Osler giving the signal. And that's a great shot. A magnificent shot. Swung it over deep square leg for 6.
In the 1983 World Cup, India's cricketers were confounding the critics. They had been drawn in a group with the West Indies and Australia, and all but their staunchest supporters expected them to make an early exit. Now they stood in the semi-finals for the first time in their history.
I think once we were through to the semis, we were all thrilled. So I think the first thought came in our mind, if look, this is the 3rd World Cup we were playing. We failed miserably in the first 2. Now we have reached the semis. So let's enjoy the semi-final first.
Though the semi-final was a new experience for India, this was not entirely a team of novices. The majority of their 14-strong squad had yet to carve their place in history, but the Indians could call on 2 players of world renown. Sunil Gavaskar boasted a talent that transcended his team's test record. His stroke play and technique had bewitched spectators for a dozen years, and though he was less consistent in the shorter version of the game, his prodigious talents were too great to overlook. Until the start of 1983, Gavaskar had been captain, but that role had now passed to a 24-year-old, Kapil Dev. Already the youngest player to have reached 1,000 runs and 100 wickets in test matches, a feat he achieved aged just 21, the all-rounder's talent on the pitch was not in dispute. But his captaincy was unproven, and now would be tested in the semi-finals by the hosts, England.
Well, these are the days where England were favourites to do a lot of things. In the context of that World Cup of '83, not necessarily favourites to win the competition, because West Indies, as ever, having won the previous 2, remained firm favourites to win it. But England had played good cricket through the competition, but as ever, it's the classic cliche, isn't it? You get to a semi-final, anything can happen. If you don't get it right on the day, that's it. Your dreams have faded to nothing.
Nobody thought in the media, nobody thought anywhere we can beat England in England. I think, again, we were in a hype at that time. Nobody could have stopped us.
The venue for the match would be Old Trafford, scene of India's opening day triumph over the West Indies. And the omens looked good.
When we saw the wicket, we were very positive. I think that really encouraged us, because that reminded us it was more of an Indian wicket than an English wicket.
My memories of it wasn't a particularly good pitch. I think I was very inexperienced. It had no pace or no bounce in it. And as I said to you before, in them days, if England got beat, it was always the ground's fault, never England.
England, though, started the match in fine form.
That's a lovely shot. First boundary of the day. Beautifully timed shot there by Graham Fowler. Half volley on the leg stump. He put it away to perfection.
England's opening pair of Fowler and Chris Tavare wasted no time tearing into the Indian attack.
That's going to be 4 more.
The way England started, I thought probably they would score about 300 runs, and the first 15 overs, they're really smashing the bowlers all over the ground.
Getting that away through the gap on the offside. The outfield pretty quick. 4 runs, 50 up. A very promising start indeed for England.
Then, of course, Roger Binny, I think, was the man of the series right through the World Cup as a bowler, because